All right, let's get on with it now as we start off with our first look at the papers this morning, the headlines. Let's begin with the Punch newspapers. Of course, we're not going to be doing this alone. Joining us to review the papers is a journalist, Charles Ideho.
Thank you. That's a fair try.
Okay, give her the real pronunciation of that name, because
that's right.
Ideho, because the point is, I understand in your name, if you twist it like this, it means something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Ideho means a man of industry.
Okay.
A lazy man.
Wow. Wow. No, we have to get that right so we don't call you a lazy man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Now, the Punch. TSA lenders kick as court orders 7 banks to remit $793.2 million to the federal government. UBA, Fidelity, Sterling, they're all involved in all of this. What's your take?
Well, the thing is that thankfully I'm particularly glad that such revelations have been made, because over time you see exactly the slits in the system. So because nobody was looking that way, banks were taking advantage of just shortchanging the system. But now you have TSA. You see people dump money there, and then they became faceless. So now we said dumped there by unknown government officials. But they're not going to show up. But if they want to make them show up, the banks that accepted deposits from them should name who they are. So they can be faceless. Because there was an agreement. So there's a depositor. There's a receiver. So the receiver couldn't have received the deposit from a faceless
and the spirits don't put money in the bank.
The spirits don't bank. So when they're doing investigation, they must have to drill those banks and make sure they reveal the names, the identity of those.
But I'm wondering why it is so much of a challenge for the banks to come up clean with the statements of the account and the name and details of who owns what account and all of that.
Why is it difficult? It's going to be pretty difficult because a number of times, you see, even banks, they're also struggling to remain alive, in a manner of speaking, because they usually, most of them have abdicated their traditional
primary
banking role. So what they were doing before is that they were hobnobbing with banks and in cahoots with some of these governors at that time and government officials. They were accepting those deposits, so which made them appear to be rich. So that's why even the everyday people, the people in the informal sector, couldn't go to the bank and get a facility, because banks will tell they don't need them. But now that the TSA came on board, so the banks they're now struggling to remain alive. So that's why in most cases we find them shielding those people who they do this business with.
Still staying with the Punch, should I still stay with this one? Fresh Suit wants FEC to declare Buhari unfit. Is it?
No, it's not a matter of by fiat. You declare him unfit. There are processes to follow. First of all, you have to constitute a committee of the executive. The executive, they have to come up with that. Then they have to also appoint a medical official or medical personnel, including his own personal physician, and then to determine his state of health.
All of those are specified in the Constitution.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
The right processes.
You cannot by fiat declare him unfit. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we have this. We move to the Nation newspaper now. The issue of the 7 banks is still on here. It's the biggest headline here. 7 banks hide 249 billion naira for unknown government officials. We've talked about that. So let's move to the next one. Oshibajo seeks 135 billion naira environment. That's in support of a part of the supplementary budget, in support of power, housing.
Yes, exactly. Because you remember that you had a lot of irregularities in the budget. The fought and go here, about the in quote what has now come to stay, the purging and the rest of them. So because there was an agreement reached by with the National Assembly, they have to sign the budget the way it was, but now seek a via more for them to now bring that in, so in order to show up the value of the appropriation. Okay.
We still have another one headline that was very, very controversial in the past weeks. The federal government directs separation of CRK, that's the Christian religious knowledge, and the Islamic religious knowledge.
Beautiful, Mike.
This is decisive.
Exactly, because you know why? Because even if you had an amalgam of these two courses, it's going to create a lot of instability. First of all, you are a Christian, some of us are Christian, you have Muslims. Now, when you now tell a Christian child, okay, on the one hand, that the person of Jesus Christ is that he is the Son of God. That's to the the CROK. Now, when he attends another class, he's being told that Jesus Christ is not a son, that he's a prophet, that God has no wife. So how are you going to be?
The contradictions.
So it's a very delicate balancing. So let's separate them. Those who want to go the Son of God way will go. Those who want to go with Prophet of God way, they should go. So that are many to go, because they are opposing each other. So who is going to look at the issue of stories from the Bible land and how Moses and let them study that. If it's
Can
going to be
we
useful
even
to
draw
them,
the line
then
between religious knowledge or religious
if you
teaching
ask me,
and spiritual?
Yeah, if you ask me, I would say just expunge both of them from the curriculum, because it is what is bringing trouble to our system.
No, but we've never had any issues with these before.
Because, yeah, exactly.
So
Because
it shouldn't be an issue.
Politicians, they harvest from this.
Yeah.
They harvest from now.
You can say that
exactly.
again. All right, let's move on to the Daily Sun. Governors demand state police. Are they too late to the party, or what? They're just waking up to? They've set up a committee already.
Yeah, but people will be afraid that it's the same governor that are going to be using the state police to hound enemies. So if I'm not surprised they're asking for it, but I don't think look, we need state policing. Because first of all, when you talk about proper policing, it has to be that you domesticate it. You don't have to make it unitary the way it is now. You have to have recourse every time. There's cases going on under the jurisdiction of a division, a DPO. You move the case straight to Abuja. I mean, the case is lost.
But the IGP is saying Nigeria is not ripe for it. So when will Nigeria
the question
be ripe?
is, okay, what makes us? What are the indices? What are the factors that make us ripe for it? You need to look. Today now we're having smartphones. 10 years ago, the phones were not so smart. So, but you bring it, when you bring it in, you test run. If it's faulty, you go back, you repackage, you refurbish, you restructure, and then before you get to the perfection stage.
Okay. Well, I know this issue is going to be on for the next few days.
Of course.
Let's move to the Vanguard newspaper now. We have one of the stories there say why MLIA's recall process must go on. INEC tells court. This issue has been on and off for some time now on the issue of the recall of Senator Dino Melaye from Kogi West.
So I begin to have his strength to talk. You know, we're told recently there was a conspiracy theory that the man was shushed up because of some past delays. But the man came out to say no, that because they have to obey the court ruling. But what they are doing is they want the court to vacate that order so that they can proceed. If in the end they are able to succeed, good for us. If not, but at least let's test that law. Let us test that process. That's the way I see it.
It's just the beauty of democracy.
Yes, exactly.
All right. We still have another headline here that says the Northern Elders Forum lashes advocates of secession. I guess that has been on. We've overflogged and flogged this issue. And Wabweze Adebanjo, Kirinade, others meet on Nigeria's restructuring.
Yeah.
But is it my problem about restructuring is that everybody just most of
mouthing it?
The proponents that don't. It's ambiguous. What are you? Okay, you have a structure that is effective. You need to rebrand. Okay, but the question is that we have a whole lot to talk about. Are we going to go back to the regional regional government? Are we going to maintain the geopolitical system, or we're going to go the state? If you want to do that, what about, for instance, I always mention, I come from Edo State, for instance. Edo is homogeneous in language almost, with where dialectical differences. Then the culture is different. I mean, it's the same, but the same Edo. The central and the north are saying that the north, I mean the south is overloading over there. But what they're not doing is that with the same method they were talking about affirmation state.
Maybe the fundamental
question is, so when you get there, what are you going to do?
We've not been able to say, look, it's all about being Nigerian. It's all about Nigeria. Okay. Restructuring. Governors constitute panel on state police. Others, IG. Country not ripe for decentralized
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You see, my problem is that whenever they are there, for instance, somebody was on radio last night, or maybe if you remember him.
Yeah.
And the man was exactly, the man is talking about restructuring, but when he was there, they didn't see it. So when they are there, the system favors them. So they harvest from what is saying, give them. But once they are out, it's like somebody who is watching the game of IU.
But if the regional system worked before, why can't we even begin to look at it again?
Because a lot of people, there are some lazy regions.
Okay, we'll have to live with that.
All right. That's another window you're opening now, but let's not go there for this time. Time is against us right now, but Charles, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.